Besides doing exercises in gym, I also research on stroke. The stroke that I suffered was a hemorrhagic stroke, which means I bled in part of my brain due to the BP that was uncontrollable. But then you see, the thing is that everybody thinks that stroke is caused by a lot of stress, which is part myth and part true, because I come from a family that has a big history of hypertension. My grandmother suffered 7 strokes, but at that time, nobody really spoke about it. It was just a separate incident. Only when I suffered a stroke and when my doctor asked me about hypertension in my family, that's when I discovered that hypertension is actually a disease that leads to stroke, especially when it is triggered by high blood pressure. Now, when you're a stroke survivor, you cannot only rely on your doctor's information. You've got to do a lot of research on the stroke. You've got to do a lot of research on other stroke survivors, the exercises they do, and the lifestyle is very important. You've got to watch what you eat, and you've got to have lots of cardiovascular fitness, because you are at risk at suffering a heart attack or cardiovascular attack, which means if you do not exercise, you're going to lose fitness on the cardiovascular side. The issue on drugs and the side effects. Now, doctors only know what is written about the side effects, and some of the drugs might not give you side effects, some might have side effects, but you have to explain to your doctor if you're having complications caused by the drugs. Do not make up your own mind and stop taking the drug, because this is very, very dangerous. I repeat that. Do not stop taking the drug because it is giving you side effects without explaining to your doctor, and your doctor has to change the regimen of the drug that he had prescribed for you. Now, when it comes to family, when you are a stroke survivor, there are many things that you have to really consider. Number one, being self-centered, because now that you're very dependent on people to take you to shops, to take you here and there, you must know that family, they are not, as much as they are caregivers, they are not trained caregivers to respond to your demands, because when you become self-centered and when you start feeling sorry about yourself, you may expect so much from other people, and because you have changed, people that in your family that are your caregivers will also change and respond the way they respond to how you treat them. So I would advise that study more about how other stroke survivors have managed to get back on their feet and move on with life, and how they have managed to rekindle relationships with other people in their lives. This is very important, because when you have emotional disturbances, you're most likely to either be very aggressive or you're going to be very passive. It all depends which one, or you're going to have both passive aggression. It is very wise that you see a psychologist and explain some of these changes that are happening in your life, and get skills on how you can deal with some of these emotions that I call blank emotions, because sometimes I have a memory And I call it a blank memory because I can't really remember what it is, but I can feel that it's a sad memory and I feel like crying. Or I just have uncontrollable outbursts of laughter because most probably the memory could have been very funny. But it is very vital that you research more on the stroke that you have suffered and the changes that are going to be in your life. Thank you very much.